Hello, welcome to this video. Usually I teach a yoga class every week, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about really setting yourself up for success if you're doing yoga at home. So oftentimes I think, especially in Western culture, we really get obsessed about all of the yoga accessories that we have. And I know some people think that that's a hindrance, that you can't practice at home if you don't have everything that would be available to you in a yoga studio. And really, that's not true. I think sometimes we use these as excuses to not get on our mat, or maybe to not try different poses because we feel like we need all of these extra things. So I wanted to take some time today to just talk through some of the basics. Now, I've been practicing yoga for almost 10 years. So there are some things that I have just collected along the way. And then there's other things that I've really just recently accumulated, and I've always made do without them. So I'll kind of share some of that, and then I have a lot of things off to the side here that I want to show you as alternatives to some of the more traditional like yoga equipment that we actually have. So first things first is the mat. Now, I have had this specific yoga mat for many, many years. You may even be able to tell. Like you can see where my hands and feet are. This is a cork yoga mat. Um, and I've just had it for so long that it's like the sweat from my hands, my feet, like you can see that on the mat. However, that's what I love about it. I love a really sturdy mat that's going to last forever, because I don't like the idea of tossing a yoga mat. That feels very wasteful, or just to get a new mat to have a new mat. So you really don't need one to practice yoga, though. I know a lot of yoga studios will have them available. I think there's something that people like having their own mat, and I totally understand that. However, you don't need one to practice at home. So, really, even if you just have I mean, you can practice this as a concrete floor. You could practice on that. If you have a rug, you can find that space because there's always pillows and blankets that you can place under your knees if you don't have like the actual cushioning of a mat. So don't feel like you have to have the mat. Really, you just need a space that's like mat-ish size for you to practice. And then along with the mat, you'll often hear me talk about using yoga blocks in class. So these are a couple of blocks. I actually only purchased these during the pandemic because I was practicing at home so much. But otherwise, I had never had them prior to that. So these are just a couple of cork blocks that I purchased from a local yoga studio. It was my way to still support them during the pandemic, and then also helped me just have something at home. However, if you don't have yoga blocks, which I think is more common than not, there's quite a few different things that you can use. So first are just any kind of books. So I actually grabbed this one. It's the autobiography of a yogi. And if anybody's ever read this, you know it's like a massive book. So like this felt like it was about the same size as my block. So you can always use it on the ground just to prop your hand up a little bit. But something like this, you could even kind of stack and use just to support yourself a little bit. Now, of course, you're not going to bring all of your body weight onto it if it's stacked like this, but you can have multiple books stacked. If you have like a dictionary or encyclopedia at home, that's even better. Any kind of books, again, you can stack them up. I also found a puzzle box, which I thought would work perfectly. Again, when you're coming into a pose where maybe you're just using your blocks as like support. So let's say you're coming into a lunge here and you just need a little extra support like to the side. You could use a box like this, and that would work great. Um, I also found at home, again, these are just things in my home that are hopefully giving you plenty of ideas as well. I had this little extra tote that I had used for storage in one of my bathrooms. And so this is something also that you could flip upside down. This is very sturdy. I feel like I could put my body weight on this. But again, is also great just to bring the earth a little bit closer to you, and you could do it on multiple heights here. So that could be an option as well if you have something like that at home. And then finally, I even think a tissue box could work great. Now, again, of course, this is not one you're going to put all of your body weight on. However, I feel like this is something that could bring the earth a little bit closer to you. So, again, you can kind of turn it in multiple directions, but it gives you the extra challenge of using something, especially in a balancing pose where you want to stay light on your hands. So you're not dropping all of your weight into your block, but maybe really just trying to use it to be there to like catch your balance. So maybe just setting your hands on it and then coming off. Because, of course, with a tissue box, you're going to know if you're putting too much weight on it. So this could actually really benefit yogis that are working on balance and kind of want an extra challenge, but still a little bit of support. Now, another support piece that we have in a lot of yoga studios are the yoga blanket. So this one I am pretty excited about. My husband actually just got this for me for my birthday, and it's the first time I've ever had an actual like yoga blanket. I really love yoga blankets, especially to start my practice, just coming into a seated position. I feel like the blanket is really great to just sit on. You can bring your hips right to the edge, which just helps prop your hips up a little bit higher than the knees. Um, and then, I mean, you can use this in so many ways. You can also roll it and sit up on it a little bit higher. You can bring it behind your shoulders, your back. However, of course, it's just a blanket. So you don't need that specific type of blanket to practice at home. So here we have a lot more options. Of course, you can use a towel. And you can see, I mean, folding up a towel, you can really get the same types of heights that you would on a yoga blanket. So any kind of towel is great. And then, of course, you have pillows. So if you're anything like me, you probably have a lot of throw pillows at home, but maybe not. You could grab the pillow from your bed, maybe a couch cushion, anything like that. So you have pillows of all different sizes, different heights. You can stack them. You can maybe just use one of them. Go around your house and just kind of test out different ones and see what you really like in your practice, and then use that. So again, don't need the official yoga props. Use what you have at home. And now one of the last ones is a yoga strap. So this is something that I actually still don't own because I think there are so many alternatives you can find in your home, starting with a belt. So this one was my husband's. I actually don't even think I had a belt. So oftentimes we use this when we're on our back and we're just looping it around the foot when we have our leg extended in the air or something like this to just have a nice stretch. So you can see a belt works great for that type of stretch. You can also use any type of scarf or bandana. So these were just a few that I had in my closet. One is like a cute little silk head wrap, but you could absolutely use this just to do some stretching for yoga. This was just a regular square bandana, but again, it's going to be a little bit shorter. However, you can absolutely still use this, again, to wrap around the foot. I mean, you can see this is a little bit shorter. However, it still gets the job done. These are also great too if you're trying to come into a bind. You can use the bandana or any kind of scarf just to give yourself a little extra length. And then this was just a winter scarf that I had. Again, it would totally get the job done. So I think those are really everything for props. I just really hope that this video empowers you to look around your home and see what you have that you could actually incorporate into your practice. Again, I've been practicing for 10 years, so some of this stuff I've just accumulated along the way. But especially if you're getting started, don't let not having these things hinder you from beginning a yoga practice. You really don't need all of the things. And then one final thing I just wanted to touch on is this idea of having the right like yoga clothes or even yoga equipment to go into a studio. So I do have like a carrying bag for my yoga mat, but of course that's not needed. You can just carry your mat. You can also borrow one from a lot of yoga studios. And then with clothing, if you are not somebody that maybe has, yoga pants, or you don't feel like you have the right brands or anything like that, it's really not what yoga is about. We're practicing yoga for ourselves and how we feel in our body, not how we look on the outside. So always remember that any kind of loose fitting clothing, it could be active wear, it could be sweatpants, it could be jogging shorts, sports bras, tank tops, t-shirts, whatever you have, is totally fine. So please never ever let thinking that you don't look like a yogi, or you don't have the right yoga clothes or the right mat or the right equipment keep you from getting into a class, because that's really not the point of yoga. So I hope these alternatives are really helpful and that you'll be able to incorporate them into your at home practice. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again on my channel. I post a lot of different classes, and then this fall I'll be posting some yoga posture breakdowns so you can really see the details and the nuances of what each posture is supposed to look like, so you can get into it in a really healthy and sustainable way in your body. So stay tuned for that. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I hope to see you back here soon. Thanks.